Hello, and welcome to Letting Go and Staying Connected. This presentation, along with Part 2, is aimed at helping you, the parent of a college-age student, understand some of the developmental tasks and concerns that your son or daughter will be facing in the upcoming years. We will also discuss some tips on how to stay connected with your child and support them through the college process. The launching years, or the first 2 years of college, are vastly underrated as a complicated transition for parents and children alike. The launching years rival any 2 years of parenting for the formidable events they contain, the challenges and questions they raise, and the sheer emotional intensity of this time in your child's life. Thus far as a PCBS, or parent of a college-bound senior, much of what you have been involved with has been practical and instrumental in getting your child into college. Assessing colleges and managing the application process, finding a way to pay for college in these times, and identifying a suitable living option for your son or daughter. Now the focus tends to shift towards transitioning your relationship. Sometimes it can be more difficult to deal with these emotional aspects than with the concrete things you've been faced with so far. As your child transitions to college, they will be faced with a new set of developmental tasks and concerns, such as developing autonomy. Being away from family and home can lead to homesickness and feelings of depression. Your child will be much more responsible for taking care of themselves, both physically and emotionally. This is also a time for your child to develop a sense of purpose and determining how they can turn their present skills and interests into a career. As your child transitions to college, they will need to learn to manage more adult relationships, by exploring those relationships and backgrounds, learning to communicate and deal with conflict. Your child will be faced with developing a sense of identity and learning to balance life's multiple demands such as work, school, health, and play. As your child acquires their own set of values, morals, and ethics through experimentation, they will learn who they are separate from their parents and their peers. Identity development is a normal part of the growth process, and many students try on several identities before they settle on one that fits for them. This is a time to ask yourself how your kids are going to be different from you. Sometimes this can be unexpected, and it may cause conflict. Papas, or post-adolescent pre-adults, are caught in the middle. They are not a child, but they are not yet a full adult either. Millennial students, or individuals born from 1980 to the present, have been more sheltered and protected than previous generations. As society has learned to put children first, the children have learned that the focus is all about them. Because of this, millennials are made to feel special, and while they are more confident and optimistic, world events such as 9/11, wars, and media coverage of kidnappings and violence has resulted in the world feeling more unsafe. Today's students are very connected with their parents, and with cell phones, millennials have 24/7 access to their parents. The average number of times that a child and parent talk on the phone is 6 times a day. As a result, millennials are much more responsive to adult intervention. Today's students have a strong desire to talk with their parents, as long as the conversations are marked with openness, honesty, trust, and mutual respect. Today's kids also tend to get along better with their parents than previous generations. Millennials are the most scheduled generation to date, and they tend to experience more stress and pressure to succeed than previous generations. They experience very high expectations to balance activities, work, and academics. As a whole, they tend to be more conventional and doers rather than talkers. Millennials experience pressure and high expectations from parents who at times can be over-involved. The high level of expectation often leads to perfectionism, and because they are close to their parents, many feel the need to fulfill their parents' expectations. As a result, we see more depression, anxiety, and relationship issues at the counseling center than ever before. There are several stages in the adolescent-parent separation process. It starts with dependency, where the child relies heavily on the parent to fulfill their needs. As the child ages, they move towards a more ambivalent stance, where part of them wants to remain a child, but another part of them wants to move forward as an adult. As the adolescent works to establish their own identity, there is often conflict in the relationship as they test new identities, roles, and values that may not be the same as their parents'. Emotions during this time are often hard to deal with as the adolescent navigates how to become independent while not sacrificing the loving attachment they have enjoyed. As they move towards independence, they work to resolve struggles with negotiating their new values with their parents' values and qualities. And finally, they move to a more interdependent stage, where they are able to develop and maintain relationships without compromising who they are and while maintaining deep emotional ties.